start the recording. You can go ahead and get into a game whenever.
Quick game or competitive?
Probably competitive.
Ah, Mercy is out of rotation. Damn. Well, Mercy's out of rotation this time.
Yep.
With every death comes honor. With honor, redemption.
Okay, I think I should practice more other roles. So I'm sometimes trying to play other roles.
I would recommend that if you're trying to learn the game to focus on one role, because when you focus on one role, it allows you to get better at that role. And if you get better at the role, so let's say you get your support up to Masters, then you're going to be watching Masters players play DPS, and that's going to teach you how to play DPS. So it's probably best to focus on one individual role, and then that'll help you get better at the game overall. Your sensitivity looks super high right now. Did you recently up that since last time?
I turned that up, yeah.
Okay. Typically you're not gonna want incredibly high sensitivities because it's gonna do a few things. First off, it's going to make it harder to aim precise shots. So for example, headshots are gonna be harder to hit.
So
you could have a little bit of a higher sensitivity for do you use a controller?
no.
Oh yeah, you're
I do have one.
Oh yeah, you are lowering the controller sensitivity. Yeah.
Feel better. I'm not one for standing around.
Attack commences in 30 seconds. Let's shoot for a new high score.
Once the mission starts, no more messing around.
Okay, I think that this is good. This is good so far. Hey yo, Fuji, are you there?
Yep.
How's the resolution? Is it like a 1080p? Like
For me or for on your end?
yeah, it's like an HD. Yeah, on your end.
So for the stream, are you asking? Is the stream okay?
Yeah, how's the quality?
The quality's fine. Okay, I know the game did end there, but just make sure you're paying attention to kind of the corner when you're walking out there. You're not just running straight out and booking it. You're paying attention to what they're running, because they ran a Junkrat, and that meant that you were probably gonna die there.
Yeah.
And you did end up dying, but it's unfortunate that the game ended.
One shot, one kill.
Okay, yeah. You can see one of my problems. See there? See here? Sometimes my hand stumbles a little bit. Like I want to headshot him, but sometimes my hand stumbles like this. You see? Can see that? I want to fix that problem like right now. I think that is one of the problems to prevent me from playing DPS sometimes. Sometimes when my hand stumbles like that, I cannot aim it well.
Do you have a big mouse pad?
I don't have a mouse pad.
You don't have a mouse pad? Okay, so
yeah, like my table is kind of small, so I'm like putting a lot of study. Like I put an iPad and another MacBook, so that's why I should leave some place for a mouse pad, because I put a lot of stuff on my table. So
my recommendation would be to get a decent sized mouse pad, which you can get for like $10, and then clear out some space on your table, and then lower your sensitivity by a lot, because lower sensitivities are going to be easier for precise movement. So headshots in particular, you're gonna need lower sensitivity for that, and higher sensitivity can just make it harder to even function at all. Not to mention medical kind of problems that you can get from wrist aiming. So if you're wrist aiming, you can develop carpal tunnel syndrome, which I started to develop until I started using wrist aiming. Or sorry, I switched from wrist aiming to arm aiming. So if you really only move your wrist while you're playing games, then you could be in danger of that. But at the same time, if you don't use the computer all the time, then that's not really going to matter. I probably play a lot more than you, so higher sensitivities could just be fine for you, but not at the level of 60. I think I use 4, or sorry, I use 3. Okay, pay attention to your amp usage. Everyone, you don't really want to be amping heals when everyone's full HP, because then that's kind of a wasted usage of amp.
Okay.
Okay, if you're sitting on healing a little too much there, you're trying to run away from them, you use speed. If you're trying to move, you use speed. If you're trying to sit still, then you can healing.
Okay.
If you're trying to clean up a fight and everybody's full HP, use speed. Most of the time, probably 60 to 80% of the time, it's going to depend on on what team comp you're running and what map you're on. But 60 to 80% of the time, you're going to be on speed.
Okay.
Times that you can heal are when people are low, when you're sitting still in one place. Also, pay attention to when you're using amp. You'll want to use amp for when it's needed, not when you're just kind of sitting still there. The amp wasn't really useful. So pay attention to when you're trying to rotate, trying to run into them, run away from them. Okay. Okay. That feat was a little bit delayed, and it caused your hog to die, and then also you're not riding walls enough. So again, same with being on speed. Riding walls, you're probably gonna want to be doing that 85% of the time, because riding on walls gives you extra speed. It gives you a lot more survivability, because 1, you're faster, and 2, you're going to be higher up, which makes it harder for them to kill you. And then 3, it gives you a lot more visibility for what's happening in the fight. Pay attention to what's happening in the fight. Right now, you're going in when your whole team's dead. So
Yeah.
pay attention to tab. Pay attention to who's alive. You can see through walls. Do you see any teammates? How many dead teammates do you see? We can look at the fight before we even get there. So we see 4 teammates here. That means that the next fight's starting. We only see 3 teammates now. So we would just want to wait for the other 2 to get here. Okay. At this point, you probably want to just jump off the edge, because you're doing what's called staggering. Okay, you probably want to get out a lot faster there. You were really just kind of sitting around doing nothing for a large while. So try to get out fast or just die so that you can get back with your team. You can't heal people, so why are you on healing? Your entire team's purple. You shouldn't be on healing because then you're just doing nothing.
Okay.
Also, a lot of the times, you just kind of sit there and just use your heal aura. You need to be doing other things besides just using your aura. Your kit has more things than just your aura. There you died again because you're on the ground. You're moving very slowly. You're in spam range, so there, Ash got you because you're just spamming. You don't want to be there. You don't want to be dying just because you're taking random spam. So stick up on walls so that you're going to be taking a lot less damage. Okay, again, you're very delayed with the B. Don't hesitate with it. Use it as soon as you see the opportunity to. Again, you're kind of sitting on the ground on point, which is going to mean that Reinhardt can free swing on you. Look, Reinhardt can't swing on you because he has a hammer if you're on top of a wall.
Activating the barrier.
Get into position.
What? I was behind my shield. What was the shield?
Okay, so biggest things that need focusing on, make sure that you're speed boosting when you need to speed boost, healing when you need to heal. So speeding when you're moving places. Is your team looking to go somewhere? Are you trying to be aggressive? Is your team trying to back up? And then healing when your team's not doing anything. If they're just poking, then you can just stay on healing. If they're critical HP, you can stay on healing. If the fight's done and you're just healing people up, because you're just healing between the fight, you can stay on healing. Any other time, it's probably just gonna be on speed boosts. Make sure you're staying on top on walls. It's gonna give you survivability, mobility, and then a lot of the times as well, you're really not doing much besides just existing. You're just kind of sitting there with your speed aura or your heal aura and then not doing much else. So you need to remember that you also have your boop and your shooting, so you can do things with those. So always be spamming your damage so that you can get 1 ult charge off of it and 2 kills off of it. So if you see an isolated target, you can go on isolated target. If you see somebody's low, you can go on the low person. And then just in general, in general, try to be paying attention to the fight more. Because a lot of time you're just kind of off in La La Land and not paying attention to what's happening around you. There were like 3 people above you. Make sure you're listening and watching that. You faded out into a very bad position because you faded out into the open. So instead, you want to fade back behind cover so that you're not dying.
Okay.
Is there a reason the payload?
This will heal.
Okay, that was a bad orb, I know.
Yeah,
I just wanted to throw it to him, but
you could have also just canceled it and then healed them up.
Well.
Yep, that fade didn't really get us anywhere, so you just kind of wasted a cooldown. You hesitated on the healing with the tracer. Your healing goes beyond the animation, so you can heal people from a really long way away.
Yeah.
On Moira, and you didn't really heal her until you were like 2 inches from her.
I must reflect.
So heal her faster. Make sure you're keeping her up.
Okay.
Okay, you're using your heal up a little too much right now. You could have just healed them up with your regular healing, and then save the orb for damage or something else, but instead you're just kind of throwing out a heal orb that's not going to get any value.
Repairing the damage.
Okay, pay attention to, I think we've already discussed this before, but pay attention to HPs. You don't want to be wasting half of your resource on things that are full.
Yeah.
Okay, pay attention to your resource meter. Right now you have to be trying to get more resource back, and now you can start using heal orbs. Because you're at 0. Be looking to right click people to get more resource up. Again, right now you're just kind of existing, you're not doing anything. You could have faded out of that as well.
Surrender to my will.
Check this out.
Ash is up.
Okay, so I think if you know the streamer Samito, he's also Contender. He just posted a tweet about this recently, but he thinks that big thing that people struggle with at low ranks is that they have a very low actions per minute, so they're not doing a whole lot of things. And I'm noticing a lot is that you will just kind of zone out, go into La La Land, and not do something for like 10 seconds straight. So make sure that you're paying attention to the fight. You're either healing or damaging almost at all times. You don't want to be staring at walls. Always stare at something that will give you information. You don't want to be doing nothing. So for example, right here, you just did nothing for 10 seconds. So be more decisive with your decision making. You don't want to be sitting there doing nothing, because then your team's in this corner dying while you're kind of off on the high ground. So go with them faster. Stay next to them. A lot of the time, you're just stopping kind of what you're doing momentarily. For whatever reason, I don't know if that's an intention issue with you. Possibly have. I'm trying to make this as unrude as possible. Do you possibly have ADHD or something like that?
I'm sorry?
I'm trying to make this as unrude as possible. I'm asking this, but do you have like ADHD or something like that?
ADHD, what's that?
ADHD, it's kind of attention, hyper action deficit. I don't know what I'm saying right now, but
I'm
it's
not
like,
sure.
so
Well, one thing I know that is sometimes I'm bad at hand-eye coordination.
do you have struggle paying attention to things for long periods of time?
No, but
No.
well, not always, but I mean, wait. It was like my hand-eye coordination is not good. Sometimes when I think about to do one thing, but it took my hands and my action and some sort of delay to do that.
Okay, so what you're saying is that whenever you pause, you're thinking about what you want to do, but you're not really doing it.
Yeah, like I think, okay, I'm gonna do that. I want to heal him. I want to do this to him, but like from the time when I thought about that, till I actually do that, or actually maybe fail to do that, there is some delay between that. That's why I'm saying I'm not that good at hand and eye coordination.
Okay, so that's
Science
interesting.
will reveal the truth.
I would not say that I have a large amount of experience trying to coach that. I'm not gonna say that I do, but I guess if I'm just trying to think to myself, I would just focus less on thinking, do things faster, because I'm gonna screen share real quick. A lot of the time you'll be in the middle of fights. We're just gonna go up to high ground here. So You'll be in the middle of fights, and then you'll just be sitting here. Your team will be down there fighting, or they'll be even right next to you fighting, and you'll just be sitting here like this, not really doing anything. Sometimes you'll be looking at walls. Sometimes you'll be healing air. But a lot of the time, you need to be doing something at all times. So either if you're not healing anything, you need to be holding down right click. Just always hold down right click if you're not healing something, and be looking for something right click. I think a good example of this is last map that we were playing. I was telling you you're low on resource. You need to get your resource meter up. You're 1 HP on it. I said, so you need to be looking to damage something. So then you just kind of sat there and didn't do anything for, around 10 seconds, where you just sat there not healing anything because you didn't have resource, and then you didn't look to damage something. In that time, you need to be looking to damage something so you can get that resource meter back up. If your resource meter's at 0, it's going to take a long time to get up without damaging something. So you're just kind of sitting there letting it recharge bit by bit, and then using up the rest, and then letting it recharge, where you could be damaging something and be getting it back much faster. Even if it's just spam damage, you're trying to get it off as far away as you can. You can get it off from here. You just kind of tickle them from this distance. And then we have all our resource back. So there's just a lot of times where you're not doing anything. I'll try to call that out more while you're just playing. I'll say you're not doing anything, try to go do something. Just make sure that you're either healing, you're either damaging, you're throwing out an orb, you're just doing something. You don't want to be doing nothing. And try to avoid looking at walls too. We'll go over crosshair placement real quick, just because this seems to be a thing. But aim at body level all the time. So a lot of the time I'm noticing you're looking down, which when you're looking down, this is going to be doing two things. One, it's going to mean that it's harder to hit people than if you're aiming at them. And then the second thing, especially on heroes that can hit headshots, you always want to be aiming head level if you can hit headshots, body level if you can't hit headshots. And the other thing it does is if you're looking at the ground, you can't see, you have less visibility. We can't see the high ground. Now we can see the top high ground. Oh wait, yeah, if you look head level, then you can see it. So visibility is gonna be lowered if we're going like this. Visibility is gonna be lowered if we're going like this. So don't stare at walls. Stare where people can be. Stare at doorways. So we know the bot's coming from this way. So we're already looking there.
Flows from you.
Corners. Again, doorways. Where we know people will be. People aren't going to be inside walls, so there's no reason to look at them.
The damage.
So I think besides you just making mistakes like not knowing how to use your abilities or whatnot, two big general issues that I'm seeing that kind of go beyond what character you're playing or how you're playing them is just you won't be doing things for long periods of time, and then you're also just not intaking information. So for example, in the one fight where I'm talking to you and you're on Lucio, you just kind of you went in on Lucio without paying attention, and you went into the fight when you were the only one there. You had maybe one other person alive, and then you died because of it. So you need to pay attention to the fight through the walls. You can see your teammates through the walls, so pay attention to that. Pay attention to where your team, what's happening in the fight. You're not paying attention to what's happening in the fight most of the time. Pay attention to kill feed, because kill feed will tell you if you're winning or losing. If you're up one person, you can probably go ahead and get in a queue. I'm just gonna keep talking though. If you're up one person, that means that you're at an advantage. Up two people, that's a win. Down one person, that's a disadvantage. Up two people, down two people, that's a loss. So pay attention to kill feed so you know if you've won or lost, or if you're at an advantage or a disadvantage. If you're up people, then you might want to speed your team into the fight. If you're down people, then you might want to speed your team out of the fight, or into the fight to just die faster. But a lot of the time, you're just kind of sitting there, not doing anything, and then you don't pay attention to when you need to go in and when you need to get out.
This is gonna make you feel better.
Any questions about anything gone over?
No.
Okay. Things that you're doing really well in. I saw you're doing a lot better with how you're using your. There's maybe like one time where I saw that you had bad resource management. So the resource management was a lot better on your Moira. You weren't just kind of wasting it all the time like you were before. I don't think I've seen your Lucio before. I think this is the first time I've seen it, but
Yeah, I used to think you gotta turn on your heal boost all the time. That's what I usually think about it. So that's why.
you did good. You did decent, making sure that you're staying with your team on Lucio. But there were also a lot of things that you struggled a little bit with.
Yeah.
Hey, do you have any questions?
Oh yeah.
Well, not quite, but
You hear that?
yeah, that's the thing. I just wanted to
Time
fix
heal up.
because sometimes I'm feeling that my DPS or my teammates are running to somewhere random and I don't know where they're going, and then that makes me hard to find them, or that makes me like kind of more and more uprising, nervous feeling or confusing feeling, and that makes me more and more distracted from trying to going up with the team.
So
That's the true feeling why when I'm out with it with like not the whole team, because I can easily spot if the whole teams are there, but when individuals like maybe one or two people are there, maybe a DPS or maybe I'm following someone else, they might go some place that are, going place that I might, feeling like really hard to reach there, and then that makes me more distracted.
alright, don't focus on the main bulk of people. Don't focus on people off on their own unless they're like critical HP. So it's kind of gonna be like when we were talking about with Mercy. Your goal is gonna be staying with the main bulk of people, especially with Lucio and Moira. You're trying to heal up big groups of people, not one person. Mercy pockets one person, so it's gonna be kind of the opposite of Mercy. Mercy's gonna pocket the DPS, whereas you can hop into a queue. I said that before.
Oh yeah, that's okay.
So, Moira is going to want to stay with the main bulk of the team. So don't try to run after people who are off on their own.
Let me try this. Let me see if this. No. Let me see if that's better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think I turn way too much on the
No dying on my watch.
KO. Give me a sec.
Okay.
I think I'm changing my. I think I'm changing my DPS settings though. Let me see. Okay, I think I turned off that. I turned off that setting button. I turned off that setting. I think my DPS is 1200 right now.
DPI.
Yeah, the DPI. Sorry.
Okay.
Get in here.
Okay, I think this seems
Immortality bubbles down.
kind of better.
More control. This is you're gonna have a 2/3 more control since you were previously at like 70.
Yeah. Okay.
Your strength remains.
Wait.
Yeah. Like I don't see when I watch Overwatch League. I don't see like when I see first person view. I don't see. Sometimes their screen moves like pretty quick, and then I think once you point out a problem, it's like try to watch it do a 360 watch. So I'm trying to figure out which sensitivity is better for a 360 watch. Like. Oh no, that's my problem.
Most of the time, you're not gonna need to do 360s. Most of the time, the most you're gonna need is a 180. Because you're not gonna need to turn around and then turn around again. There's no reason to do that. So most of the time, you really only need to do a 180. Is the thing.
Okay.
And you don't and it's not gonna be a common thing that you need to do that fast.
Oh, okay. I thought I have to do that fast.
I mean, you can once in a while, but it's like if there's a flanker on you, but most of the time, good crosshair placement can just make up for that.
Oh,
It's just
okay.
going to be looking where you know they're gonna be. Okay, so um, when we get into the next game, I'm just gonna do a quick review of what I, based on whatever character you go, I'm just gonna do a quick review of what I want to see you focusing on for that
Alright.
game.
Shin Shin. My will made real. Your body decays.
Okay, now I think I'm feeling us better. The crosshairs are much better than that sensitivity.
Oh,
Yeah, like, you know, the first time I found you, like, that time my sensitivity is too low. And I turned up my sensitivity and that was too high. So now I find something like a medium range, which seems like it could be better.
Prepare your defenses. Select your hero.
okay, so we're playing Moira. Things to keep in mind is going to be resource management, make sure that we're not wasting our resources, but then also we're paying attention to people who need the resources. Pay attention to when people are full HP so that you're not healing them if they are full. If whenever you're not healing, you should be looking to damage. Anytime you're not healing, be holding down right click, be looking to damage somebody, be looking for, don't just hold it down, look for somebody to damage. Pay attention to where the enemies are.
Okay.
When people aren't critical HP, or you're not trying to heal somebody from a distance, or you have your ultimate, just throw damage orbs so that you're getting your ult faster and you're getting damage in. Make sure you're using Fade for when you actually need it. But then the biggest thing I want you to focus on this game is making sure that you're doing things at all times. So, at least when fights are happening, you can pause in between fights, but you always want to be doing something in the real fight. If I see you not doing something, I'll just say, hey, you're pausing up, freezing up again.
Defend objective A.
Okay, pay attention to your main tank. He's critical HP, you should be healing him up. Stay in range of him so that you can heal him. Try not to spam jump.
We're also rank. Yeah, we might need our own widow.
Oh.
Yeah, it's fine. Your Ryan died. So your Ryan died because you weren't, one, near him, and two, you weren't healing him. So make sure you're paying attention to his health. You're paying attention to when he's about to take a lot of damage, and you're being ready to heal him up. This is a common trend, I think, last time we did a VOD review. So make sure you're paying attention to your main tank in the front, because they're going to be taking the most damage.
Where's this hog?
I'm following my hog right now.
High ground widow.
Okay, in that scenario, you can probably Fade to get rid of the purple effect. Pay attention to your Ryan. You can't heal through shield, so you try to get around the shield or go into the shield. But again, you weren't close enough to actually heal your Reinhardt, and then that meant that he died first. Your Reinhardt has died first twice in a fight, and that's because you weren't at a distance where you can heal him. So stay closer to your Reinhardt, and if they end up shielding him off, then make sure you're getting around the shield.
Yeah, like, how do I focus on both tanks? Because they seems like walking pretty separately.
Roadhog's gonna need a lot less attention than Reinhardt is. Reinhardt's the front line tank, he's the main tank, so he's gonna be taking more damage, and Roadhog also has self-healing. So pay attention more to the Reinhardt than the Roadhog.
Okay.
What do you have? Get him, get him.
Yep, you're freezing.
Okay, I think my eyes are. My eyes suddenly started to pain, so
Alright.
I don't know what happened.
If that's becoming an issue, just let me know, and we can end early and make up a mind.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. Like, I think starting from where the game starts, sometimes my eyes started to like feel really painful, and I don't know what happened.
Okay, so in this fight, be looking to use coalescence. Okay, I want you to use coalescence before people are starting to die.
Hawk's point. Not the whole point. Right. Moira hack. Moira hack.
Okay, so chasing after the diva who's way out of your range for your healing, walking in a straight line, and that meant that Bob rolled you. So pay attention. She's out of your range. Focus on doing something else, because one, you're wasting healing resources. Two, you're not really doing anything for that time. So be damaging something if she's out of your range.
Okay.
Went to the top.
Okay, good choice to come back to your team. Wait for your team to go forward.
He's up there. He's one. Genji cat.
Okay. Have Fade as a reflex there. It's a little bit delayed. Okay, so you're sitting in the middle of the fight. Probably going to try to sit on the side of the fight, because you're gonna be taking a lot of damage if you're in the middle of the fight. You're trying to stay alive so that you can keep your team alive. And if you're sitting in the middle, you're going to be taking a lot more damage than if you're sitting on the side.
Okay.
Prepare to attack.
Okay, so we're down one person. If they don't come back by the time the timer's done, it's up to you, but I'd probably say just leave the game so that we can get started on a new one, because if they don't come back, it's probably a lost game anyways.
Okay. So leave the game right now, or?
Yeah, wait, so after the timer's done, it shows on bottom left, so it's at 18 seconds right now. After that's done, then you won't have a penalty for leaving. Oh, sorry, you won't have an extra penalty, so you'll still lose 25 SR, or like around 25 SR, but you won't be losing double.
Everyone signed their life insurance policy.
So we're leaving right now, or?
The government
Yeah, you can leave her now.
such a medieval view towards
Sorry, I think I didn't tell you. Starting that game starts, my eyes started to feel real pain. I don't know what happened.
Are you still feeling the pain?
It's better right now. I'm trying to put on some eye drops. I don't know what happened. It hadn't happened before.
Okay, would you like... Are you still good to go, or would you like to stop?
Maybe we'll stop this time. We'll talk about it next time, though.
Okay, so we have 20 minutes left in the session. Would you like to just add that on to next time?
Yes. Sorry about that. I'm not in a really good condition today.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna end the VOD right now.